I am Vanessa Levin from Pre-K Pages, coming at you live from Dallas, Texas, and we are super excited to have Dr. Barb O'Neill in the house tonight. She is joining us from California, and we are here to talk about challenging behaviors. Oh, there's Tom. Tom is here. We can see and hear. Roberta is here. Claire is here. Wonderful. So we're here to talk about challenging behaviors because we all have them, right? So let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Barb and we will get going. So Dr. Barb O'Neill has been a teacher's assistant, a toddler teacher, a preschool teacher, a preschool special ed teacher, and the director of an early childhood center. And if that wasn't enough, she has a master's in early childhood special ed, a doctorate in early childhood from both Teachers College, Columbia University in New York City. And she has taught at Brooklyn College and California State University in Fresno. You can find her online at transformchallengingbehavior.com. So Barb, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here, Vanessa. Thank you for inviting me.
I am super excited that you're here. And a lot of the folks watching tonight, if you've heard about the Transform Challenging Behavior Conference, let us know in the comments below if you've heard about it. And for those of you who haven't, I think it's brilliant. I met Barb back, was it January or February, Barb?
Yeah. Which was it? January. I think it was January.
Yeah. So she approached me and told me about this brilliant idea that she had of this online conference on this one specific topic. And I was like, oh, because that's the number one challenge that we as early childhood teachers face in the classroom every single day. So when you go to a regular conference, well, first of all, you have to sometimes fly there or drive there. You have to find childcare. You have to take the day off of work. You have to pay a lot of money. There's so many things that go into a conference. And Barb's idea was really revolutionary. And she approached me about speaking at the conference, and I jumped right on board. Right, Barb?
Yeah, which was amazingly lucky for me.
Well, tell us about your vision here. So how did this whole thing come about? And just tell us, it's obviously your passion, so go for it. Tell us about it.
Yeah. Well, and I just wanted to mention to everyone the sort of fun fact is that you and I met, speaking of conferences, because you were in town 15 minutes from my house at a conference, and I was at a conference an hour from here, and I got mixed up, and I was like, we're at the same conference, and we were actually at different ones, but we got to meet in person. So yeah, a lot of us do a lot of schlepping around for conferences. So part of my idea with this conference was that it eliminated the schlepping around, and that it was really an opportunity to dive deep into the topic of challenging behavior and everything that can go into that, and giving teachers strategies to both prevent it, which is of course the best case scenario, right? Is to try to get out of that vicious cycle and tomorrow find a way to prevent it, or when it inevitably does happen, address it. And for me, I really want us to think outside the box about challenging behavior a bit. And when I was a teacher, I found that using things like puppets or theater could really help with challenging behavior, say at circle time, or, going into children's play could help prevent challenging behavior in a way that when you're across the room, you're not in as good a position to do. So I had my things that I feel like are essential, but there's this whole world out there. There's folks who are teaching about trauma. There's the special ed folks who can help us. There's issues of racial equality and bias. There's just so many different things. And there's things you teach in terms of, so many things you teach, and what you're speaking at the conference in terms of some of those circle time strategies. So it's there's so much. And so I just wanted to bring that all together in one place for everyone to access and to just help us really think through these issues. So I could go on and on about it because obviously, as you said, it is my passion. But I know some of your folks had questions, and I'm interested in Vanessa, if you have anything you want to add in terms of, what you are starting to see as this vision for the conference.
Absolutely. Well, here's the deal. I've been, like you said, schlepping around. Shout out to my friend Debbie, who's from California, and her license plate is Schleppen. She's one of like my 6 friends named Debbie. So Schleppen Debbie is her name. So as we go around to these conferences, I just feel like I'm talking to only 1% of the teachers. Like there are so many just, here on the Facebook page with like 960,000 people, but I'm speaking to a room full of 20 or 50. And those are the folks who could, had the budget money, and they took the initiative and asked to go, and they took the time off, and they wrote the sub plans, and they found childcare, and they found a way there. So many parts and pieces went into their attendance, and it just breaks my heart because the power of the internet, with that power, we can reach everybody, and it doesn't have to be so overwhelming, time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It can be easier, and it can be more accessible, right? Mm-hmm. Because one thing I've noticed since registration opened, I don't know if you've noticed this on your end, Barb, but we're going to have attendees from the emails I've received, New Zealand, Australia, places that you and I probably, I should just speak for myself, but I'm probably never going to go there. It's on my bucket list, but if I were to go to a conference there, I might see 100 teachers, but here we can reach globally, and that just blows my mind, Barb.
Right.
You're changing the world with this, and I'm following in your footsteps, so I'm just thrilled to be a part of it. That I was so honored to be asked to speak with some of these really important folks here. I was like, really, me? But Barb knows that I can talk shop all day long about how much I love early childhood and what a geek I am about it. So yeah, I don't know. How do you feel about this global attendance, Barb?
Yeah, I am super excited about it. And it's so funny. So I have been to Australia, but not New Zealand. And it's kind of funny that you just mentioned that and said you haven't been there, because one of the things I keep telling folks is doing this conference is one of the most exciting things in my life that I've ever done, along with backpacking in Tasmania, which is part of Australia, where I did that like 10 years ago. So this is like top 2 things of like that I'm glad I did. And one is in that part of the world, and the other is doing this conference because folks are starting to come into the Facebook group, and that's a great way to dialogue and to find out, I feel like it's kind of, behavior is kind of an epidemic in our country in terms of like this national dialogue we're starting to have around expulsions and the high incidence of expulsions. And then certain states are saying we can't, programs can't do that. So I'm really curious, like, what is that like in Australia? Or one of our speakers, Alistair Bryce Clegg, is from the UK. So I said to him, what's happening over there with these issues?
Right.
Yeah. It's really exciting how the internet creates this opportunity for us to dialogue that way.
Absolutely. So we have a few questions coming in. Here's one from Lori. Barb, what do you think? Will there be training hours given?
Yes. Great question. It's a frequently asked question. I'm in the process of making a little FAQ for the website. So the way it works is that there's, just to back up a little, there's going to be 21 sessions offered, and they are roughly an hour each. So I know folks asked about that. Some have been. And part of why we did it that way is that I know some people do want to get credit for the training hours. So we tried to make it neatly an hour. It might be 5, give or take a few minutes there. And so if you need or want to get a professional development certificate, you do need to purchase one of the conference packages. So the conference is available for free to anyone who registers during the week of the conference. And then if you purchase one of the packages, you get some extras, including the training hours certificate or professional development certificate.
And that's what I like about it, because not everyone wants or needs a certificate. Like for me in the public schools where I taught for 20 years, I didn't need that any extra hours. My school district provided those.
Okay.
So I would have attended for free, it was free. If it's free, it's for me, right? And then if you want or need those other things, Barb has a lot of options there for you. So one of the other questions we got, let me see if I can pull it up on screen here. I'm not really good at this. We probably won't do this one again. Is it really free? That was the question I got in my email. So tell us about that.
Yeah.
Is it really free, Barb?
Yeah, so it's really free. I think I would love to hear your prediction on this, Vanessa, but my guess is most people will partake for free. And I know for me, I've actually done a ton of online learning, and partially why I think this is a great model for learning in other people's online conferences, or sometimes they're called summits. So it's a pretty popular model in in different sectors, like the mindfulness and meditation folks do these, or some online business folks, and in early childhood. So there's definitely, I've seen and participated in other ones. So, lots of people participate for free. When I participate in them, I always just sign up for free. And then I see like what the prices or packages are and how much I like it as I get to know it. And then sometimes I buy it and sometimes I don't. So
right.
It's completely free during that week in May. And, that's fully fine to just take the free option. And you get a lot. You get so people know what you get when you register. Every morning you're going to get a link to that day's talks. There's 21 days over the course of 7 days. So every morning you get a link that will take you to the 3 recorded sessions, conference sessions, and you will get a mini workbook, workbook of the day. And so that is, again, some people, they don't want a workbook. Some people might really like that. So we're going to have questions in there to help you reflect on your own teaching and integrate the ideas into your practice.
So here I am typing again. I said I wouldn't do that again because I'm not good at
well, your last one came up really, that was pretty cool. I'm going to have to take a lesson from you on that.
So we're talking about the Transform Challenging Behavior Conference. Barb, tell us the dates, because I'm seeing some questions come through, and I'll put the date on the screen for them.
Okay, great. You're not worried about making a typo on it?
I'm going to type it as you talk. I'm just transcribing here.
May 8th
through
14th.
May 8th through the 14th. So here we go. So the Transform Challenging Behavior Conference takes place May 8th through the 14th.
Yes.
What if I have to work that week and I cannot watch these videos during that week? What do I do?
Right. Well, so one thing I want to say, so we have a couple of options, is that while I do think for the maximum enjoyment, you may want to watch them. Some of them you could really digest the information and enjoy them, I think, and benefit from them by listening, and, kind of podcast style. So I think you can do a couple of things. You'll get that link in your email each morning. And if you're, driving to work and you have a long commute, you can listen while you drive or while you cook or while you clean. I've actually done a ton of learning that way, right? Because we're all so busy. So that's one option. And then the other thing is, they're available each talk 24 hours. So you can do it in the evening, or you could do it in, depending on how early. I know a lot of early childhood folks are they're getting to work early. But if you have a little time in the morning or while you eat your breakfast, you can listen and watch, or in the evening. And if those are not accessible for you, it's like parent teacher conference week or something that just makes it completely inaccessible. Or someone wrote to me and said, my son's graduating. Then that is when you might want to take advantage of the packages for purchase. And then that way you'll have up to a year and spread it out and enjoy it. So
you could, theoretically, you could purchase one of the packages that you have, and then you could take your sweet time watching those. Yes. And enjoy them to their fullest, because there's really going to be some exciting speakers there. Not just me. No, everyone here has seen me before. They're like, yeah, I'm going to skip that one. I'm just going to get the certificate for that and go.
I don't think so, Vanessa.
I wanted to make sure.
Can I just say one thing about that? Because you were just saying about the exciting speakers. So I actually just recorded one of the sessions right before this on sensory integration with Virginia Spielman. And obviously I sought her out. I asked her to speak because I know when I was a teacher and I learned about this idea of sensory integration, I was like, oh, that's why, he's not just trying to limit test when they're pushing into each other or whatever, but like, I can't even tell you the number of things I learned on that talk. And I've been in the field 25 years. I'm focused on behavior obsessively. I was a special ed teacher. I found out there's an eighth sense.
Yes.
Oh, you already knew this. I don't know. We all know the 5, and then the sensory integration and occupational therapists, they're like, no, there's actually 7, but it turns out, no, there's 8. So I was taking notes.
Yes, my teaching tribe members know that. Teaching tribe members, let us know if you know that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got to get in the teaching tribe there because I am ashamed to admit that I didn't know that. I mean, I'm sure I read it somewhere, but like I really, now I've internalized it.
Well, I think that as teachers, we're lifelong learners, and we can hear I think, what's the research say on that? You have to hear something a certain number of times before you fully grasp it. And so, there's certainly many things out there that I haven't grasped yet.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure you saw the question on the screen bar. We got a lot of comments about your cheat sheet. Everyone loves the cheat sheet. How can they get the cheat sheet?
Okay. So the cheat sheet is something that I offer on my website so that folks can just, sign up for my newsletter and get for free. And so I didn't really mention it in anything about the conference because I don't want to confuse people.
Well, they all have it.
Oh, no. Well, so I didn't really mention it, but then when you get your thank you for registering, I just was like, let me throw in the cheat sheet because especially right now we have like several weeks to the conference. Yeah. So I know some people said, I think it sometimes downloads to like a sneaky location or something. But so a couple of, I think your people wrote to me and was like, I didn't get my cheat sheet. So if you didn't get it, you can let me know. I'll give it to you. But basically, the cheat sheet is just my 9 strategies that I wouldn't say I most recommend them, but I feel like they're just like 9 tips that you can use tomorrow. So you can just download that and it gives a little description and examples. And then, for most people, I think number 3, 5, and 7 resonates, whereas someone else is like, oh, I'm already doing those. But number 5, I haven't really thought about. So it's just a little introduction to some of the strategies I offer and for folks to get. So when you register for the conference, you do get that.
So that's how everyone got it, because there's a lot of folks that are here tonight that are going to the Transform Challenging Behavior Conference. So we still have questions here, Barb. Okay. Are these credits valid in my state or for my particular program? What's up?
Good question. So for that, I would say definitely check with your director or educational supervisor or principal or whoever you're going to bring that certificate to. Go talk to them and find out what the requirements are in either your program or your school district or, if you work at Head Start or your state, because it's so variable. So I don't want to promise you they're going to accept them. What I'm going to say is that I will give it to you, and after you watch the talk, you can download it and bring it. But please do double check that. I know, like, for example, in California, it's not the most highly regulated. So when I was in center director, we would have definitely been able to use that at our center, but some places are stricter. So I think everyone just, unfortunately, I don't have like a one size fits all answer for that.
Yes.
Do you have anything to add to that? I don't know if you know more about that than I do, or in your state.
No, all of these would totally qualify in my state for childcare clock hours.
Great.
I mean, we're talking to Dr. Barb O'Neill here. I think if anyone's qualified to speak to early childhood educators, it's Dr. Barb, and many of her speakers also. I know I'm qualified in the state of Texas, so you just want to check. If you're looking to it for like CEUs for public school district, then you probably want to check. Another question. First, I want to say hi to Stephen. Stephen is here. He's in our free Facebook group, Preschool Teachers Are Superheroes, and he's a very helpful person. I had a blue box confirmation in my email after he registered, and then the cheat sheet downloaded automatically to the bottom of my internet screen. Thank you, Stephen.
Great.
He's wonderful help. Another question, what if we are in another time zone?
Yeah.
What do we do?
So your 24 hours of access to each video will just be at a different time, start and end time than us. Just like for Vanessa and I guess, when you can watch them at, what are you, 2 hours ahead of me? One? Two, right. So, if I'm starting to watch at 7, she can start to watch at 9. So it just, you'll just have a different 24-hour window, and nothing, the sessions are pre-recorded, and then we're also dialoguing about them in the Facebook group. So that also, if you're a night owl, maybe someone's up to talk to you, but if not, we'll see your comments in the morning and respond to them. So I think it's fully accessible no matter what time zone.
Yeah, don't let the time zone be a barrier to registration. No. Basically is what we're saying. And what I've been telling folks is they email me, because if you're on my mailing list, you received an email from me on Monday about the conference. And so that's why I've been getting a lot of these questions. I actually put Tom on the job. I was like, Tom, this is your new job, answering transform challenging behavior questions. But don't let—
Thank you, Tom.
Yes, thank you. And Tom is very much appreciated. But don't let any of this be a barrier to registering, because like I said, the conference is free, so you can decide later if it's gonna work for you, if you want to do a package, however you want to do that.
Right.
Let's see. It says, I am registered and sharing this info with my colleagues tomorrow. Thank you for this wonderful training opportunity. Thanks, Debbie. Is seating limited? That was another one we got, Barb.
No, seating is not limited.
Awesome. So don't worry. You're gonna get a spot. Let's see. How do we get our certificates after we register for free? We watch these each day. When are we going to get our certificates?
Yeah. So the certificates will be available after the conference period is over. And they will come through the same system that you purchase the package to. So we'll just send an email out when those are available with directions of how to download them.
Perfect. Here's another good one. And I hope that the directors and principals out there and school district administrators that are watching will take advantage of this. What if I'm a director, principal, administrator, and I want my entire staff to participate? How would you recommend they go about doing that?
Yeah. So you have a couple of options there. I mean, one thing that could be really nice is to find a time in your day or a couple of times where you could all watch a session together once we'll release the schedule, and you can see if something in a 24-hour period, if you have a weekly meeting or if you want to host something in the evening. So you certainly could do that, which would be great for discussion. And then the other option is that you could purchase an institutional access pass for your school or program. And then that way everybody can have access for the year to, listen to and download the audio version, to get the transcripts, to get the PD certificates, to get the audio recordings to watch whenever they want. And you get a bonus on that in the institutional access packages and the gold packages. You also get a 4-week series of Q&A calls with me. So you can get that. So you can look on the site to see the extras, but basically, it's a much more affordable way than each person buying individually. We made some discounts for that. So that's definitely an option. And if there are any principals or program directors who have questions about that, just email me and I'm happy to explain more how it works.
So Barb said the magic word, discount.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you are a director, principal, school district administrator, there are options for bulk purchasing. So you're going to want to contact Barb for that as well. I think
can I just add to that? It is all on the when you get to either the thank you page after you do the registration or the purchase page, it's all on there. But if you review it and you're like, oh, I'm not sure how we fit in, I'm happy to email with any administrators about that.
Absolutely. And they say sharing is caring. So if you have any friends out there that you think might be interested in this free opportunity, this conference, Transform Challenging Behavior, again, it's May 8th through the 14th, right, Barb?
Yep.
I got it right. Numbers are not my strong suit. There we go. I'll put it back on the screen, May 8th through the 14th. Then you're going to want to share this video with them or tag them in the comments so that they can register for this free opportunity as well. And if you want any of the extras, you can totally decide on that at your own preference. It's not mandatory. You mentioned something that I didn't talk about yet, Barb, and that was a free Facebook group. What's that about?
Yeah. So we already have hundreds of folks in the Facebook group from, as you were pointing out, Vanessa, around the world. And, people are introducing themselves, and it's a neat mix because we have a lot of teachers and practitioners, but then also folks who are doing coaching with teachers and, looking at system-wide, like how do we help with the behaviors? So we're going to be in there, and actually Ejima Jordan, one of the other speakers, has graciously agreed to be an official co-moderator with me. Lots of the other speakers will be in there as well, chiming in as they're able and asking questions. So we're going to have a lot of fun in there. The other thing that I'm going to do in there is we're going to have some raffles for the conference. And we have some companies that have donated a social emotional curriculum kit, some children's books, a 2-year subscription to Child Care Exchange magazine. So we have some things that, and I'll be I'll mention that in the emails, but we're gonna, dialogue in there, and I'll share the raffle in there as well.
And they get access to that group after they register, right?
Yeah, so in that same, actually, it's not in the email with the cheat sheet, but shortly thereafter, you'll just get a little confirmation of like action steps. 1, put it on the calendar. 2, go join the Facebook group. And I'm forgetting what 3 is, but I'm sure you got an email about it. Those are the 2 big ones, really.
Okay, so that's how they can get into the group. After they register, they start receiving emails with instructions, and in one of those emails is a link to the free Facebook group. And that way, they can ask questions that they're looking for answers to regarding challenging behavior.
Yeah.
You have access to all the speakers there. I'm in the group. I haven't done anything in there yet, but I'm in the group. So Barb,
we're just happy to have you in there right now. That's great. We're just warming up.
Anything that needs my attention. So I want those of you who are watching right now to type in the comments what challenging behavior, and you don't have to name any names, and it doesn't have to be a book, but just like something quick and easy. What challenging behavior are you facing in the classroom right now that you're pulling your hair out over, or that you really hope you can find some solutions to at this conference? I think that will really be helpful for all of us here, both myself and Barb, Barb is the conference organizer and myself as a speaker. And I'd love to see those comments from you. We can pull those up on the screen. And like Barb said, she's already started the interview, so she kind of knows what we're going to be, what they're going to be talking about. So she can let you know, oh yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Right.
We're gonna talk about that. So what are some common challenging behaviors? Let's see, random acts. Here, I'll put it on the screen. Genevieve, random acts of aggression. What do you think, Barb? You going to talk about that?
We are going to talk about random acts of aggression. Yes.
Which is, I guess, the opposite of random acts of kindness.
I know. I kind of, Genevieve, I like that. That's a very kind of poetic way. It looks especially poetic up on the screen there, maybe, but random acts of aggression. Yes, for sure.
I love this one. Throwing chairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why chairs are so attractive for throwing. I've never thought about throwing one before, but little kids do.
It's true. It's an increasingly commonly cited behavioral challenge. Yeah.
I can't wait to hear more about that. Biting. I think that's a classic tale as old as time, right?
Yeah.
Biting is always a problem for everybody, right?
Yeah, and biting, like, there's something about it. It like touches some like emotional chord in us of like, everybody gets very upset about the biting, right? The person who, especially the families, like the family of the child that got bit, the family of the child that's doing the biting, like, biting is.
Right. Yes. Students are talking while I'm teaching, reading, and giving directions.
Mm-hmm.
I think I talk about that in my.
I think you do, Vanessa. Yes.
I think I talk about that in my session. So hello. Meltdowns. We talk about meltdowns.
Yeah. I think with each of these, it's interesting too. It makes me like, because folks are sharing the specific behaviors, we have some sessions that are going to look at how can you try to prevent those? How are you going to understand what might be going on there and how to help that child get their need met? And really, especially if it's a pattern, even if the pattern is random aggression, how to prevent it. But then we also have several sessions that look at, okay, we got a meltdown today anyway. What do we do in this moment?
Yeah, I think that a lot of, and I'm not privy to all the sessions yet, but a lot of what we're doing with this conference is looking at ways to prevent some of these behaviors from happening. Am I right, Barb?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that you'll have fewer incidences of meltdowns and chair throwing if you use some of the strategies we're talking about. I know that was one of the focus of my session, was how do you prevent some of these things from happening in the first place? General tantrums, I think, in anger, we can all relate to that, right? I'm sure all of these hitting, kicking, throwing toys. Yes. I think we're seeing a pattern here.
Yeah. Your people are good at stating their concerns concisely, by the way.
They know, well, they know if they're familiar with Facebook Live, they know it doesn't show if you write a book.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Like Twitter, when you're on live. Now, afterwards, I can see all that. But when they're talking live, I can just see like the first 140 characters, and they're used to that. Let's see. Hitting, biting. And I think the one thing that I've seen an increase in, because here in Texas, we have this saying, this isn't my first rodeo.
Yeah.
I've been teaching for a long time, and, the hitting and the biting and all of this, the throwing of the chairs, I really do think we've seen an increase in that.
Yeah.
And I think that there is there are some clear answers around why that's happening more and more. Oh, here's a good one. Bullying. Yes.
Well, and even that, you really didn't hear people talking about bullying in like pre-K until fairly recently, I would say.
Yeah, me too. Let's see. Children who won't talk about how they feel. Yeah. Oh, here's a good one. This is one that comes up again and again. Always wanting to be first. I was reading some research about that the other day, and it was fascinating.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, light bulb. Now, I can't repeat it because I don't know if it's in your conference or not, and I don't remember it well enough to restate it, but there's a thing about wanting to be first. There's like a whole body of research on that. Let's see. Goodness, I've really opened a can of worms here, huh, Barb?
Yeah, perhaps, but
in a good way, because we want to know.
Well, and I am still doing. I do still have a couple of, sessions to record. So I'm going to see if I will take some of this.
Right. Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about, before we let you go, I know you're a very busy lady, some of the bonuses. So like people can get access to, if they want to, it's still free to watch, but if they want access to the certificates and recordings, there's one package, but then there's some bonuses in some of the other packages that I thought were really interesting. Can you tell us about those bonuses?
Sure. I actually, speaking of cheat sheets, I do have a little cheat sheet just because I don't want to, on the recorded video, mess it up because I have a lot of things in my head right now. So, yeah, so with the basic package, what you will get is the certificates, which I know a lot of folks want. Then you also have the option, if you do the gold package, you get expanded workbooks, conference workbooks. So that will help you go a little more in depth with the material. And then the thing that I'm super excited about is we added these 4 weeks of calls following the conference. And so in addition to the Facebook, which, you know, everybody will be in, we'll have a little bit of a smaller group of just folks who've purchased the gold package. And for 4 weeks, I'll send you out a link. We'll get on the phone and do a Q&A where you really can get a little more time and intention to share, not in those nice short phrases, but, a little bit more time to share your specific scenario. What I would love for that is if folks come to that and say, this is my scenario, not just tell me what to do, but this is my scenario. I watched this talk. So now I'm thinking about this, what do you have any additional insight or things I could think about so that we can go a little bit deeper. So I'm not going to be in those calls introducing new content.
Right.
We're going to have tons of new content and strategies from the conference. But in those calls, we can talk more. And then on the other hand, maybe you only got a chance to watch a couple of the sessions. But then I can say to you, oh, did you check out this talk? Right. With Julie Kurtz, she's going into trauma-informed practices. Or, oh, Mike Huber's got rough and tumble play. I think what you're talking about, it looks like challenging behavior, but there's actually this whole thing of rough and tumble play that is kind of developmentally appropriate. So, check out that one. And then next week when we get on the phone, you could tell me if that helped you and what your new ideas are. So it's like, that's my favorite because I'm excited to do this because we will be connected, so many of us, and get the information out there. But, my favorite is to go more in depth with teachers.
Yeah.
Like that.
And what that reminds me of, and because you and I are on the speaking circuit and we go around, we present and stuff like that. And the thing that really hurts my heart at the end of the session when everyone lines up and they want to talk to me, and I have another session in 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. And so the person who's in the front of the line who pushed forward, they are asking me specific questions, but really what they need is what you're offering here. Because I have 15 minutes to set up for my next session. Right. I feel bad. All these people, they have to wait in line to go to the bathroom at the conference too, so there's no time to talk to people and really give follow-up. It's kind of like a one and done. And what you're offering is like a chance to really debrief, really is what we called it in the public school. You're having a debriefing, and you can get answers to those questions, those specific questions. Yeah. So love that.
And can I add one other thing? So I got so excited talking about that. So that's, with the gold package, with the platinum package, and this is, not going to be right for everybody. It's probably not going to be right for most people, but with the platinum package, you also will get my Transform Challenging Behavior Bootcamp course, which I'm just launching for the first time in the fall. So I'm offering it at a really good price to kick that off. And so you'll get that course with me to help you with the start of the school year. And you actually get an hour session with me to talk one-on-one, which, I usually just do that with directors. Not that I don't love to talk to teachers, but it's just given my schedule and everything, I usually reserve that for people who can impact in a system-wide way. But whether you're a director or administrator or coach or classroom teacher, you can access that with the platinum option. So that's the other bonus. Did I leave anything out? And transcripts. You get transcripts with some of the packages too. So if you're like a real visual person and you want to just read through it, or you don't want to have to take a lot of notes.
That's great. Yeah, because note taking is tough. Especially since we're doing this, most of us are going to be doing this, on our own, as an attendee, we can multitask, not worry about taking notes. So before
you're going to give it your full attention when you watch, aren't you?
That's right. Absolutely. One thing, I don't know if you're willing to share this with us or not, Barb, but I was really excited to hear about the number of people who've registered so far. This is the kind of reach that we couldn't have at a conference. Even if I speak at a giant conference, my audience isn't going to be the entire conference. But the number of attendees that you've signed up so far.
Yeah.
And we've only been open.
Say it again.
We've only been open the doors have only been open to register for just a little bit. So how many, if you're willing to tell us?
We have 2,700 registered last I checked. Yeah. It's very fun and exciting. I have to stop refreshing, so I didn't check right before the call because I was on another call. But when I last checked, we had 2,700. And really, you were really ahead of the curve there, Vanessa, with your promotion. I really just gave the speakers a bunch of additional information that they could share. But you're like, Vanessa's spreading the word. So I expect to have a lot more people because, we're just getting going with spreading the word.
Yeah, so keep spreading the word. I think that this has huge potential. Tell your friends about the Transform Challenging Behavior Conference, May 8th through the 14th. It's free to watch, so what's to lose, right? So even if you just need 2 credits and you don't need 21 credits or whatever, certificates of attendance, it's free, right? What's not, what would hold you back? So go ahead and do that. And I would just like to thank you, Barb, so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and chat with us tonight. We love having guests here on the Pre-K Pages show. Any parting words of wisdom before we leave you?
Well, I want to share one little preview, which is that I found this really interesting, that almost every speaker in their own way, so this is theme across sessions that I've noticed that I haven't said anywhere yet, but I wanted to tell you all, is that almost every speaker talked about whether or not we are approaching these children with a positive mindset and confidence and thinking we could help them. So I guess I just would offer that to you, because obviously in this short little hangout together, we don't have time to start getting into the strategies, but I would just offer you, even while you're waiting for the conference sessions to come out 3 weeks from now, or however many days we are, if you go in tomorrow to your classroom with that child you are struggling with, or maybe it's a group, maybe it's circle time, you're having a lot of behavior, if you just take a deep breath and tell yourself okay, today's going to be different. And, some of the speakers have even talked about not just, yes, it is mindset, but just in your whole body, being confident. Right. Might that make a difference over the next few weeks, because sometimes it's not just having the right strategies, but it's how you use them and how you interact with the children, and that just even energetic what you're conveying. So I just offer that to people in a non-strategy specific way to say, can you experiment with that over the next few days and see if it does make a difference at all?
Absolutely. That's great advice. And Doreen says, this just proves how important these kind of conferences are. They really are. That doesn't mean I won't speak at regular conferences from now on either. Just FYI, I'll be
on one tomorrow.
Yeah, there you go. But this is just an opportunity to reach everybody. And I'm just so thankful that Barb has paved the way. I know this exists in other arenas, but really in early childhood, I think this is going to be revolutionary. Jess, I'm going to ask you to go back and watch this replay. We're going to hop off now, but all your questions, where to register, what time, and all that will be answered when you watch the replay. And Julie says, I just signed up for the conference. Woo-hoo!
Did you drop the link in for them already, or you will?
It's in the comments, right. And then I'll go in and add it to the video description as soon as we're done.
Okay.
So that way,
Yeah.
most of our folks.
I would love to see you all in the Facebook group and know that you're there getting this great information from our inspiring speakers. It's very exciting. So I hope that you all will be able to join us.
Thank you so much, Barb, and thanks a lot to all of our viewers out there tonight. We will catch you again here live on the Pre-K Pages Facebook page on Monday, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. And in the meantime, spread the word about the conference. Thanks a lot. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you, Vanessa.